What's going on, everyone? Barnyard here. Going to be doing the second installment of our breeds today. So one thing I did do, I scooped up a few more queens for breeding. I know I had one that was getting close to being bred out, so I made sure to scoop up a couple more. So today we'll be rolling with 4, 8, 11. I did max out 2 of them already. So we're still maintaining our 11. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 breeds today in this video. Numbers are hard sometimes, so like normal, we'll start with our Genesis queens. We'll do our big girl first. We'll make sure that we use our mood stabilizer. We'll go ahead and make sure we're using Gen 1 bees. That's the key here. Making sure we're doing a good product when we produce these bad boys. So, man, I wonder if it'll let me sort. I'm sure I probably can sort by breeds on the male side as well. So anyway, we'll go ahead and do this one first. So pop this bad boy out. As you can see, it's costing a little bit more. HXD right now, 34 for a transaction. That's because Soul is going absolutely bonkers right now, and HXD has actually gone down a couple cents, which I don't know. We'll see. That's a whole nother. I could go on for that. Go on about HXD bullishness for a long time if I needed to, but that's not for today. I think the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the auto stake. What I'm going to end up doing is all these breeds I'm going to send to another wallet that I'm going to use just for selling my bees. And I had done that previously. I had all of my non-mood match bees in another, just a sales wallet essentially. You know, man, those are some kind of poopy stats right there, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. 249, 493. And I'll list all from a separate wallet. I'll make sure I post that wallet address so you guys can keep that looked. So you guys can take a peek at that, and you guys can see, anything from this video will be up there. Any other non-mood match bees I have will also be there. I'll be doing another video today later, and I'll actually go through and I'll start pricing a lot of these bees. And I know, see, it seems like the bee market has become a little bit flooded as of late, so maybe we will just list our prices a little bit higher where we think they should be, because we're not gonna sell for a loss. That's the biggest thing here. We'll do that there. Okay, that should maybe help with this breeding process. So go another Genesis queen. Again, making sure we're Gen 1 bees, which okay, cool. It kept their place. All right, that's the biggest thing, right? This is a Gen 1 dude, huh? Gen 1. Okay. We'll go ahead and breed her out. No mood stabilizer. We don't care about her. We just care about our queen bee, the Beyonce of our hive. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, bad joke. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can just, while we're waiting on these breeds and stuff, I guess I can just kind of offer, my take on stuff going on with HoneyLand. There's been, I don't want to say FUD lately, but there's been a little bit of a negative connotation from a lot of the community that I've seen, just from why HXD price going down when everything else going up. I think part of that is a lot of times in this crypto is you end up getting cyclical movements. Right, that's a better stat B. 249, 494. Much better for a Genesis. Still not quite where we want to be. That endurance is pretty low, but I mean, 20 slaughters. There's going to end up being a decent floor for 20 slaughters, I believe. Right, you get to a point where once the player base really picks up, there will be a demand for these not absolute trash bees. Go ahead and breed this. But yeah, back to what I was saying, is just cyclical movement in the crypto market, right? Usually you see Bitcoin is kind of the flag bearer, and that's been the big hype lately. Is the ETF got approved. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is just smothering everything else right now. Ethereum's been making a little bit of a run lately, but usually what happens is Bitcoin does its on its tear, pushes a new all-time high, for example, which just happened 15 minutes ago. Then a lot of times you'll see the take profit rotate into a lot of the altcoins, ETH, ETH usually being the major one. There we go. That's about what we want. One more endurance would have been fantastic. But for a Genesis queen, that's a good breed right there. Come on, RNGesus. I'll learn how to write better. Do we have one more Genesis queen? We sure do. Get our goth girl going on here. Ooh. But yeah, so you'll see the BTC price action will rotate into Ethereum. Other major alts, right? Solana is pretty much the darling right now. So I mean, Solana's been on a fantastic tear. I saw yesterday, I think, that FTX's share is going to be bought out by BlackRock, I think, which is huge. The fact that if you can get rid of that FTX contagion and that negative connotation that Sam Bankman-Fried provided, I mean, it's a great pump last cycle, right? But just the lasting bad taste in the mouth, right? If you can wash it out completely, that's just super bullish in my opinion. There we go, over 200 endurance. That's what we're hoping for with these Genesis Queen breeds. If we can get the over 200 endurance, that's fantastic. All right, we'll move on to our Gen 1 Monster Queens now. So one more breed for my little lady right here. But yeah, so I mean, Solana obviously has been on a tear as well as of late, hitting 150 today. But I mean, Ethereum's been on a tear. I think it tapped 4K today. But so what'll happen normally is then we have Bitcoin goes into these major alts, and then from there it drips down, almost like a trickle down theory, if you're familiar with like older school politics or whatever. But Bitcoin, alts, and then mid caps, then micro caps, right? It just all rotates downhill, right? Generally, these majors, these high market cap altcoins and stuff like that, like there's not quite as much price fluctuation. They're a little bit more static. I mean, obviously, you're still seeing 20% swings on some of these things within an hour. But market cap wise, you're talking, $1 billion flows into Bitcoin. It goes, let's 15%, 10%. Comparatively, if $1 billion flew into, Ethereum, much larger. My numbers are way off. Bitcoin's $1 trillion market cap. What am I doing? Rookie mistake here, kid. Yeah, I mean price impact, right? I mean you're talking impact wise. Whereas if $1 billion flew into HoneyLand right now, you would see the token go what? Fucking 10x, 20x. I'm sorry, I'm not really using my math right now. I'm focusing on this, but my point being is that $1 billion into Bitcoin is a lot less impactful than $1 billion into Ethereum. $1 billion into Ethereum is a lot less impactful than $1 billion into HXD, right? So a lot of this stuff trickles down, and it's very cyclical. So while it may seem that we're getting our butt kicked right now comparatively, and the FOMO is super hard, and I think that's part of what we've seen, right, is we were pretty steady at 16, 18 cents, had a nice bump back up to 20 cents, and now we're down to 13, 14, 15 in that range. A lot of times you see these micro caps, these smaller cap coins. People will just dump their bags there, go to try to capture the momentum on, Bitcoin pushing for 70K or Ethereum pushing for 4K or Solana, maybe making the next leg up to, I think 180 is the next fight without looking at a chart off the top of my head. But they try to chase these quick profits, and then they'll take those, theoretical profits back to wherever they left their bag in the first place, right? So that's the main importance of making sure that HoneyLand is a fantastic product, and that they want to come back home, for lack of a better word, when they park their, hopefully the profits that they make, right? With that being said, I've never been more bullish on HoneyLand, right? Feels very similar to when we were sitting at 2.5, 3 cents a coin, right? And it was the same thing. The market was finally starting to breathe some life in. Everything else around us was pumping 10, 20%. Bitcoin was breathing some health into it. The ETFs were coming. We were just staying stagnant, right? And then all it took was the catalyst. My opinion, I think it was Neo Tokyo and Paul Barron coming in. Hey, this is a fantastic project. The game is awesome. Got put in front of some eyes, and then within a month, we went from 3 cents up to 33 cents, right? Not sustainable growth. Retracted back down to 25 cents for a while, and then held steady at the 16 to 18 cents for a long time, which was fantastic range up until recently. But just my 2 cents is that's the vibe I'm getting right now, is that, man, everyone is just FOMOing so hard that HXD isn't moving like I believe it should, right? I still think we're a very undervalued project. The other piece to put into this puzzle is that, this latest update last week, and yeah, there's a lot of bugs and stuff like that, but one, that's going to happen. Two, knowing the team, they don't find it acceptable, I'm sure, right? Like, I know they love their devs, they love their teams, all that stuff. They're not going to throw them under a bus by any means, but I mean, I have to believe that Corey and Justin being, the fantastic businessmen, very stand-up, jam-up guys, the integrity level they have, right? Like, there's no way that they like having that many bugs in a project, right? Like, that doesn't reflect well on them. And I mean, going forward, I'm sure they will find a way to, to make sure it's not quite as buggy going forward. And not to say they're putting out a shitty product by any means, but I mean, I can't imagine. I don't know how to write code. I'm sure it's a lot easier than, hey, do this, do that, do this, put in some numbers, and then bing, bang, boom, we're good. Everything's golden. So, yeah, last update was a little rough. Still super excited because I believe in Corey and Justin in this team and the backgrounds that they have. But the fact that this last update was pretty major, right? Like, I'll probably do a series of. I'll get permission first to do a second account. It won't be used for extractions by any means, but it'll be used as like a guide, a video guide tutorial for how to create a new account, go from day 0 to a month in, and see like the possible potential from the new mechanics and stuff like that. But yeah, this new update was for revamping the tutorial wide open again, changing some of the Gen Z mechanics and just the scalability for new players and the ability to have fun. Wow, that's a clean looking bee. Man, these stats of these bees have not been very good. I know I haven't really been commenting on them. It's short of me saying, well, good endurance, not good endurance. It's just they've all been right around average or sub-average when we're hoping for at least 1 to 7 monsters, or even a chase bee. Those zombie bees look sweet. I'm hoping we can hatch one of those or breed one of those this month. That'd be nice. I had to buy the chase bee from last month because I was not able to hatch it, breed it. 2 more breeds left. Maybe we'll get one now. That'd be just speaking into existence, right? But yeah, my point being is I think we'll also start to see a ramp up of targeted user acquisition, kind of from what I've been hearing from people, here in the Discord and stuff. To the fact that now the tutorial and the early game mechanics and the early game user retention, right? That's the biggest thing. If you can make sure your product is is sticky, right? If someone picks up HoneyLand and they like it that much, on average, if you can get 30 people look at HoneyLand and a month later they're still playing, that's a fantastic metric, right? Like, I think industry standards like 10%. I try to pick up things when I hear them, but there we go, above average B, except for the endurance. More. But yeah, I mean, if your product is sticky enough, then it just turns into getting it in front of enough eyes. And I think with the latest update, I think this tutorial, I think the revamp, the sustainability of the economy, because that's a huge thing as well. You have to take into account, right? Some of these larger games that exploded, right? You have, DeFi Kingdoms last cycle, or even Axie, right? They weren't sustainable. The inflation of their token, it just wasn't healthy. Whether it's a locking period, whatever gamified tokenomics they used, it just wasn't healthy, sustainable long term, and that's one thing that HoneyLand does have. But yes, I mean, if you have healthy tokenomics, healthy economy, you have a sticky game, then it turns into just getting it in front of as many people as possible. And now that this game is, I don't want to even say, a finished product, because it's not even close. We'll see so many updates, so much more innovations going forward, but a near complete, a fully playable product, right? Fully playable game. There we go. That's what we wanted. There's our monster bee for the hatch. 1 out of 11. I guess we'll take that. It'd be nice to have better, but we'll keep compiling these stats. Look at that. 241 agility, 236 endurance. That's fantastic. But yeah, now that the product's sticky and is a good enough place that, you got to hope that someone can pick it up. They're here 30 days later. The fact that it's there is the fact now that this team is going to start really pushing it out. I fully believe that. So I'm super bullish about it going forward. And yeah, it's just giving me deja vu of last November when it was just everyone was pissed off because HXD wasn't moving, everything around us was moving, and we felt stagnant. So just my 2 cents on the vibes going on right now. But yeah, so that's my breeds. We'll come back in 4 or 5 days. I know it took a little bit longer this time. I was not being very optimal with my mating. Just between the newborn and my other son had surgery, so it's just been busy with that. But trying to be more consistent, at least once a week with these breed videos, especially so I can get a chase bee. But yeah, also my 2 cents on what's going on with honey right now. I'll do another video later today when I actually go to price and list these, and we'll see what the current bee market's looking like. We'll see how inflated it is. Not inflated. We'll see how competitive it is, how flooded it is with bees, right? I did notice that the breeding queen's price was down. I think I picked up 2 or 3 earlier in the week. I think I paid like roughly 3,000, 3,200 HXD for each of them. When just a month and a half ago they were going for 10 soul, $100 a pop. So $1,000 if you want to go fiat value. But yeah, we'll see the state of the market. We'll list all these bees, and we'll keep. I'll show you how I break them down and how I factor in pricing and If it's absolutely horrible pricing, then they might stay there for a while because we're not taking a loss. But all right, see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.